for bringing us all of those exclusive details. But yes, sources did tell Anurag earlier in the week that there is a Tata Trust board meeting scheduled on 8th of May, which is tomorrow. So we'll see how that development pans out. And we'll be bringing you all of those updates from ground as well. But shifting focus, let's once again talk about earnings. And we've got the management of eMudhra joining us on the show. Mr. Venkatraman Srinivasan, the founder and executive chairman of the company, has joined us. Mr. Srinivasan, thank you so much for your time. And first of all, good
Thank
set of
you.
numbers being reported for quarter four from the company. Let's try and break that down. Enterprise solutions grew 55% on a year-on-year basis, while your overall revenue has grown more than 31%. What portion of this growth was driven by large one-off deals versus the overall recurring business?
No, out of this, there is no large one-off deals because generally the deal sizes are today for our products, for the cybersecurity product around 5 to 10 crore, for the paperless transformation product around maybe 2 to 3 crores. So that kind of sizes are there. And out of the total growth, partly some 52% of the growth is driven by the acquisition of Cryptas in Europe and the balance growth by the organic growth.
Srinivasan, also, if you look at the numbers, EBITDA margins are seeing a decline of 276 bips on a year-on-year basis, despite a strong revenue growth. What were the factors that contributed to the margin compression? What were the cost pressures?
For example, this revenue from Europe, it is predominantly due to acquisition. In that acquisition, the acquisition was done from effective July, but the synergies are still being worked out. So it is taking time to work out the synergy. One is adding our product through them, selling through them, and their product through our other geographies. So once those things happens, then the gross margin from the acquisition will improve. Otherwise, the gross margin from the acquisition is lower. So that is where the overall rate of gross margin and overall rate of EBITDA margin is slightly lower. It is not considerably lower. It is maybe 1 or 2% lower.
Okay. And Mr. Srinivasan, let's talk about the recent growth rate. Is that sustainable, especially in the defense and government project segment? Or were there any timing related deal closures this quarter? Are you foreseeing some pressure in the quarters to come?
It is very sustainable because the momentum is picking up, because the cyber security is one of the hot areas, and the AI is also a tailwind for the cyber security. So that's where the cyber security growth, and we have penetrated in a lot of good names. For example, in India, very large banks are consuming our product. The government and defense is consuming our product. Not only in India, many countries they are consuming. And today only we have penetrated in some of the banks. A lot of other banks have to do, a lot of other government department has to do. So this momentum, in my opinion, is at least sustainable for next 2 to 3 years.
Also, the international revenue now contributes 64% to the total revenue. How should the investors think about the geographic concentration risk, especially in the North America?
North America is about 34%. But other geographies also, India is again 32%, then Europe is 12%, then Middle East is there, then Far East is there. That way, it is widely diversified, so that there is no big geography concentration risk. And again, in each geography, the customer also, the the top 10 customer, top 5 customers, they don't contribute very significantly. For example, top 10 customer may contribute 20% or little less than 20%. So that way, the concentration risks are very minimal.
And while we're talking about your international business, also help us understand where are you currently seeing the strongest pipeline conversion amid all the geographies that you are present in globally? And are geopolitical or regulatory changes impacting the sales cycle in government and defense internationally?
Yeah, we are seeing good growth in India, as you might have seen from the standalone balance sheet and profit and loss account. We are also seeing growth in America, growth in other countries, but because of this geopolitical situation, little bit effect is there. Earlier, we were thinking of servicing all the geographies from Indian data center. Now in US, the customers are forcing us to have US data center. In Europe, they want to have European data center. Then Middle East also, no, earlier, the Middle East, all the banks and government, we were giving the e-signatures from Indian data center. Now they have also made a law that it should be issued out of the, if you have to be a certifying authority in Dubai, we have to have the data center in Dubai. So like this, these regulations are coming, which a little bit has increased the capital expenditure in the last 1 or 2 years. But other than that, there is no embargo or anything like that because we are an Indian company. And sometime, for example, in US earlier, we went with the eMudhra name, but now in this kind of product, when we say Indian company, little bit negative effect is there. So we have renamed our US company as we have created a subsidiary called Certinext, so that generally people think it's a US company only, but from the ownership perspective, that kind of it creates a good, better image. So these are the changes we have done to adapt to the new environment.
Right. Also, the BFSI sector remains a key vertical for you. Are the private banks increasing their spends meaningfully on cybersecurity and digital identity?
Yes, because cybersecurity, two things are there. One is our paperless transformation is more for the business benefit. So everybody has to do the paperless transformation for benefit. But cybersecurity is a product which is more driven out of fear, and more hacking, more and more the threat surfaces are considerably increasing. So with the result, the demand for the cybersecurity, and it's a board level discussion in every bank and every big entity. So that drives the business for the cybersecurity.
So that sounds really good. And Mr. Srinivasan, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us to decode your Q4 numbers and, more importantly, what lies ahead for the company. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
So viewers, that was the manager eMudhra that had joined us, optimistic of what lies ahead, and that is being seen in the stock price also right now. 7.5% of an uptick on that stock on the back of some very good set of numbers. But on that note, it's time to slip into a very short break. We'll be right back with more news and updates and more stocks in focus on the other side.